Hi guys, Fuck here and welcome to the final video of today, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the 93 rated Prime Icon Moments Peter Schmeichel. His card on the whole actually looks fantastic, and he did cost me in the region of 10,000 coins to complete his own SBC, and in the 4 games that I played him with, he did not score me any goals or get me any assists. Wasn't expecting him to, but I thought I'd throw that in there. He also does have a 3-star weak foot as well as 1-star skin with it. Then moving on to his in-game stats, there aren't too many to choose from, but we will pick out his 96 reflexes, his 93 positioning, and his 94 diving as some of his main standout stats. And if you do his SBC from scratch according to Footbin, he will cost you 680,000 coins for an untradeable card, and I think you can already tell by the tone of my voice that is just not on. It's ridiculous. It doesn't represent good value in my opinion, and you know, I will say this again, with Team of the Season close to coming out within the next 3 to 4 weeks, can you really sit there and think it's a good decision to spend nearly 700,000 coins on this card? Yeah, don't get me wrong, in terms of paper stats and stuff like that, or stats on paper, he does look endgame, but I've used plenty of other goalkeepers that are just as good as him. The 91 flashback I see of Garfield's just as good as him. Probably even a lot of standard goalkeepers like the 89 Buffon or the regular David De Gea are probably just as good as this guy to use in game. I think there were a few exceptions to the list. I think David De Gea's cards and Courtois' cards are very, very good and tend to be probably the best cards to go for in FIFA 19. But this guy in game, and also for the fact that I'm not a massive fan of Peter Schmeichel. I love his son Casper. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I really, really like him. But Peter Schmeichel, I don't like him on punditry. I don't think he's a good pundit, and I think whenever he comes on as a pundit, he's the type of person that just seems to love the sound of his own voice, and yeah, I don't really like him for that. And in FIFA, I didn't really like him either. I thought there were parts of him that were okay, and we'll touch on those now. I thought his throwing was actually really, really good in particular. The way that, you know, when he regained possession after making a save or catching it from a set piece or something like that, he'd actually make a really good throw to start off attacks and stuff like that. I never really used his kicking because I only really tend to use that if I'm trying to clear out something when I'm panicking or stuff like that. I just want to clear the ball long, maybe to try and get like try and confirm a win or something like that if it's late on in the game or something like that. But usually for the rest of the time, I'll use throwing, and his throwing was really, really good, and that how it always, you know, 90% of the time reach players and stuff like that can then build up and start an attack. So definitely throwing wise, he was actually really good at that. But you paid nearly 700,000 coins for a card that's got just good throwing? No, you don't. We'll talk about his diving. I thought overall that was actually pretty decent as well. He actually did make some really good acrobatic saves as well. But for the most part, I also have decided to throw in some clips of him conceding goals. Whether he should be saving them, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys if you think he should be saving some of the goals that he conceded. But I still thought he made some pretty good saves, like one-on-one saves and stuff like that, and saves from tight angles and stuff like that. I thought he was actually pretty decent at overall. But yeah, looking at that main con, he's just too expensive. For me, no one in their right mind can sit there and spend nearly 700,000 coins on an untradeable card. Now, a lot of people might say, well, can you sit there and pay 1 million coins for Team of the Year David De Gea? Now, first of all, Team of the Year David De Gea, it's a well-known fact he's one of the best goalkeepers in the game. Even his standard card's fantastic. But at the same time, that David De Gea card is a tradable card. This is an untradeable card, so you're going to be throwing all your coins into an SBC when it is close to Team of the Season as well. And you know, you're not going to really get those coins back unless you're really, really lucky in packs, unless you got millions upon millions of coins. I would say do this SBC if you're a Denmark fan, if you're a fan of the guy in Germany, if you're a Man United fan, or you just happen to love Peter Schmeichel, go ahead and do him. But I think for most people, first of all, I wouldn't even do a Prime Icon Moments icon at all, unless you have some certain connection to them where he's my favorite goalkeeper of all time, or this is, you know, in the case of Yashin, a lot of Russian people might like him because he was the greatest Russian player of all time or something like that. I can understand that a lot more, but overall, if you're just a regular person that's playing FIFA that just saw these SBCs, go and do Robert Pires instead of someone like that. Robert Pires is like 520k, well over 100k cheaper, and he's an outfield player. It's going to be a lot more usable than the Schmeichel card. Don't get me wrong, to use in game, overall Schmeichel isn't that bad, but you can't sit there and pay 700,000 coins, because when it comes to Team of the Season, there's going to be a lot of goalkeepers that are going to get released, like Alisson and stuff like that. They're going to be just as good as this card and will cost at least half the price and will be a tradable card as well. So in my opinion, this is an SBC you definitely do not want to do. But anyway, guys, that is going to finish off this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.